say what you want about Candace Owens. We have a lot of disagreements with her in various aspects of politics, especially her commentary about the environment, which I think stems in many ways from the fact that she had a relationship with the Koch brothers working at Turning Point USA, Charlie Kirk, if you will. And so her policy about being a Christian, though, seems to be pretty consistent. And this is going back even before October 7th. And so when it was put into action as a member of the Daily Wire, she made a conscious decision that she was not going to lie for money. Ironically, the Daily Wire is on the outs. They have suffered so much economically as a result of Mr. Shapiro making
Poor
it
Benny boy.
The Israel Wire, as it should. The Daily Israel Wire is what it really should be called. And so as a result, they are on the outs. But Candace continues to push the angle that maybe the Israel lobby's control over our political discourse is actually a lot worse than you think. And why is that? Because somebody like RFK, who has a number of good ideas politically, I personally think, is also somebody that has a lot of bad ideas. And the worst of them all is his absolute mentally controlled.
It's unhinged. I'm sorry, like his thoughts, his feel like he's with they're unhinged. These are not
Israel is not without harsh criticism, but also a great deal of skepticism. Why is he like this? Why is he constantly taking photographs with Shmuley? Why is Shmuley constantly taking photographs with every single politician that he can get in front of a camera, whether it's Cory Booker all the way to Volodymyr Zelensky? Why is that? Because you're going to see why right now.
Is no halfway decent person in the world who thinks I would like to become the president of the United States. In order for me to get there, I think this guy, Rabbi Shmuley, would be well suited to be on my campaign. It's always been very strange that RFK Jr. is always has Rabbi Shmuley in the background.
Yes. When is this clip from? Because we've been talking about this for like well over a year at this point.
There are so many photos of Shmuley, not just with RFK, but with many others that you can find on social media right now. Very reminiscent of a similar pose. Tulsi Gabbard is in photos with him.
I agree, Travers. Aaron definitely handed Shmuley his arse on Pierce. It was good.
Yeah.
It was good.
We need to get you on Piers Morgan. Need to get you on that.
What?
Need to get you on Piers Morgan.
Going on that. I'm not going on Piers Morgan to get in a ridiculous argument with some lib. Don't be ridiculous.
Especially given the allegations that were made against him by Michael Jackson. He's a very problematic character. Again, that is just obvious point number one, which you will eventually come back to. I do not believe in the Kennedy curse. Everyone talks about the Kennedy curse. Oh, there have been plane crashes and JFK got shot and RFK got shot. I don't believe in a curse. I am, however, a believer in the idea that the CIA has kept incredibly close tabs on this family since they shot JFK. Who is they? Who is they? Since they shot JFK. Okay. The entire world owes him tremendous gratitude, but I have never been under any illusions that RFK Jr. was not in some capacity being controlled. That has never, as soon as I saw him with Rabbi Shmuley and he couldn't explain why that was, and as soon as I was watching his interviews with Dave Smith and he couldn't explain why he couldn't lodge even one critique of Israel, I got very suspicious. Without getting into further details at this moment about what I know and what I have been told, I can tell you that one name that kept coming up is Amarilis Fox. Now, I mean, I've never heard of Amarilis Fox. Tell you a little bit.
I could tell you who Amarilis Fox is.
I don't know who that is.
So I actually hung out, if you will, with Amarilis Fox for about, I don't know, an hour at RFK's official launch event in Philadelphia.
Okay, but who is she in relation to the campaign or whatever?
So Amarilis Fox is a former CIA agent, but we all know that you never actually leave the CIA, do you, Jen?
So she's a spook, is what you're saying, and then she's just hanging out there with him, or is she part of his team, or what?
She was his campaign manager.
Oh,
And she is married to his son. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a family affair.
That's very interesting.
It's very interesting.
Okay, that's very interesting.
Quite.
Okay,
About
let's
her.
hear
She's actually
Candace.
quite extraordinary what she's accomplished in her life. She's a former CIA officer.
They have to stop saying former. How about just like not currently?
Well, I mean, it really needs to be treated the same as like when we've talked about it with Marines. Once a Marine, always a Marine.
Once a spook, always a spook.
Born Amarilis Thornburg. She attracted the CIA's attention when she was really young while she was pursuing her master's degree. When, after the September 11th attacks, she created an algorithm to identify local terrorist safe havens. Her Wikipedia goes on to say that Fox became one of the CIA's youngest female officers at age 22, assigned to quote unquote non-official cover, which entailed her living abroad with fake identities and no diplomatic protection. She has said she assumed the cover of an art dealer and focused on preventing terror organizations from acquiring, you guessed it, weapons of mass destruction. Every time, weapons of mass destruction. Anyways, her and Dean Fox eventually got divorced. And then you're never going to guess what happened in her life. After 8 years at the agency, she left the CIA in 2010. Which I always wonder, do you ever just leave the CIA? Is that actually
No.
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 Not unless it's in a body bag. Sorry.
More than likely.
a thing? Can you really get another job after? Do they just let you go in the CIA? What happens to a person when they leave the CIA? Anyways, I'll tell you what happened to her. Then she went to a Burning Man festival. I know what you're thinking. You're like, whoa, you mean like the Burning Man festival, middle of the desert, a bunch of kids high on LSD, tons of love drugs, connecting with one another. Yeah, she went to a Burning Man festival. And a mutual friend of hers introduced her to RFK Jr.'s son, RFK III. Yeah. And they
I
just
like
fell in love.
that shirt. That's really cool shirt.
I'm
You know, I
telling
like
you,
her.
Ben, he was there. They all have this very distinct jawline. But
Yeah, the Kennedy. He's got a Kennedy face.
he does.
Love, which many people do. And they got married in Cape Cod in 2018. And by 2023, she was working for RFK Jr.'s, her father-in-law's presidential campaign. Beautiful stuff, guys. That's it. I just wanted to tell you a beautiful, beautiful love story.
I'm not exactly sure what she's like implying other than we do not generally like the idea of, you know, spooks in the wild. Like it's not a good look.
We agree, Phil. Ben Shapiro is a self-hating human. That much I think we can agree.
He's one of those that I have to put in the micro penis category. He's got, even though he's not oligarch, he's not in the oligarch micro penis category, but just so clearly just self-loathing. Like, what is it? What he's got some issues. He's got some issues.
He's a small man.
And I think very small is exactly the point. Yes. Mm-hmm. I hear you, progressive lefty. I'm not generally a huge fan about Candace. I'm not, but I stand in solidarity with her on Palestine right now, and that's a priority. So I feel like she has a very big platform and has taken a stand on that. And so even if it's a broken clock is right twice a day, I'll take it with her.
But exceptionally consistent.